I think today is going to be the last really good weather day that we have this year. And by good weather, I mean sunny and into the 70s. Yesterday was exceptionally warm. It was into the 80s, which is not normal for this time of year. Today it's still decent. It's in 74, I think, right now. And it's comfortable out, but I can tell there is a chill in the air that was not present yesterday. So I think that it's definitely wrapping up, and it's supposed to, according to the forecast, it is supposed to get cold starting in 2 days from now. Tomorrow is supposed to be around 70 as a high, but it's going to be raining, supposedly. Would be nice. We very much need the rain. I forgot to bring out the telephone, so I'm going to go grab that, because if I don't, then somebody will call. It is pretty windy today. Hopefully these microphones are holding up against the wind nicely. They're supposed to be very wind resistant. So far I feel like they're pretty good. Done some testing with fans, and there wasn't an unreasonable amount of wind noise. Done some video outside with them. Wasn't an unreasonable amount of wind noise. So I think they're pretty good. And definitely have much better quality than the onboard microphone on the camera. Plus, it's nice to have the audio consistent as I move around like I am right now. I'm nowhere near the camera, but the audio is still good. And as we know, the audio is more important than the video. Or I should say the audio quality. They need to exist simultaneously. Okay, I've got the telephone. Now I'm going to go into the garage and get some wire cutters, strippers. Oh, it's cold in here. I also need to get some staples, because what we're going to be doing today is we're going to strap this wire, this new underground feed wire that I ran to this light post here. We're going to attach it to the bottom of the fence. So the wire that you're looking at on the ground here is a 14-3 two-conductor, and it's going to feed both the street light in the frame and the street light off to the right on the other side of the fence in the side yard. So I need to get some staples. These are supposedly good for 14-3. They look a little small to me. Maybe I'll grab the larger ones as well. You will need the hammer. We're going to need the utility knife. Oh, shoot. I didn't put the cover back on the Simichrome polish last night. Oh, no. I hope it's not spoiled. That was dumb. That's unfortunate. Alright, anyways. We've got the utility knife here. And we also need the strippers. We can use these. These are decent. Actually, oh yeah, those will work. Now I wired up the ones on the left side of the yard here behind the camera, and what I did was I used the multimeter to measure the resistance of the wires to determine which ones were hooked up and which ones weren't, because I have 3 fed inside. So we'll do that again here. That'll work fine. And so we're going to end up hooking up, let's see, we might connect 2 today. I'm not sure. There's other things I need to do before it gets cold out, so I'm trying to balance. I'm trying to balance what we need to do in terms of priority. This is not super high priority, but it would be very nice to have. I'm wanting to have this hooked up for a while. Need to cancel out a stupid spotted lanternfly over here before it ruins something on my property. And then we can begin connecting the wires. I haven't seen too many of these things this year. Last year it was kind of bad. This year it seems to be a lower quantity. But I did eradicate a lot of them towards the end of the year, so maybe that's why it's not as bad here. I don't know. Maybe they all died of thirst. It's so dry this year, it's ridiculous. Okay. The hammer. Oh, there's a dead one belly up right there. I don't know why that one got canceled out. Maybe they actually are dying of thirst. Who knows? Alright, so this is the wire that we have coming over to this side of the yard. And I can't do anything about it because there's a big root right here, which I'm not willing to damage. There's a root right there I'm not willing to damage. So it's just going to have to kind of sit there. Which is not ideal, because this is already a pain in the neck to cut the grass here because you got this thing on the fence. But I don't want to mess with the trees. This tree is near to the house, so I don't want to do anything that might weaken it. And cutting through a major root like that is certainly potentially weakening it. So we're just going to have to leave it alone. I'll try to push this under the ground in some spots if I can, but it is what it is. It's better than this. That's for sure. All right, that's what we'll do. Yeah, lots of mullein plants coming up over here. Just as a quick side note, I think that, I don't know, this might become a problem next spring. There's a lot of plants right now that have started to come up again because it was so cold. Oh, there's another one. Stupid. Like spring-loaded. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of plants that are starting to rebloom. They went dormant in late August because it was so cold. And now it's gotten warm again. And they're coming back. And that's not good. See, this is pushing out new growth. That's springtime growth, not fall growth. This is starting to come back. These are coming back. Just pushed out of the ground a few days ago. Got all new growth starting on here. It's not good. Got one final blueberry. And all these mullein plants are pushing up out of the ground. They shouldn't be doing that until the spring. And of course, it's kind of felt like spring. How cold it was and then how it warmed back up. It's just totally dry back here. There's nothing, it's not even wet. It's bone dry here. I've never seen it like this. You can just go all the way back. And it's not even muddy anymore. You can see how low the water level is. It's usually at least 8 to 10 inches deep here. And there's just nothing. I gotta come back here and clean up all this garbage. Every so often when it gets very dry, a bunch of garbage comes to the surface. Because at some point somebody that was here just had no respect for the land and just threw garbage everywhere. Cancel that out later. Kind of makes you wonder about the winter time. Are we going to get slammed with snow because of how far behind we are in terms of the rain? It's possible. Really have not had any significant snowfall since I've lived in this house. It's very strange. Okay, let's get this wire tacked up here. And these smaller staples will fit. Interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to put that away. It's such an eyesore. Oh, there's a little pine tree growing here. Make sure we save that. I don't have many pine trees on the property yet. that survives the winter, I'll put it somewhere else in the spring maybe. Oh no. Is that poison ivy? Oh shoot. It might be. Oh man. I'm gonna be covered in it if it is. Oh, I guess I'll have one last poison ivy outbreak for the year. Okay, that's good. Maybe one more right here. It's kind of hanging down a bit. All right, I'm gonna go wash my hands and attempt to save myself from this poison ivy infection. Okay, I'll hope for the best now. All right, so what we're gonna do is pull these wires up over here like this, and we'll kind of hide this behind here as much as we can. Now this one here, this is the feed for the, I think we're just gonna make new connections here. This is the feed for the side yard light. Oh, here, you can't even see it. Duh. This is the feed for the side yard light. And I'm going to cut back new wire here. You know what? I should have get the other strippers. I'm going to get the strippers for the Romex wire because we're going to need those. And then we're also going to need a couple more twist-on wire connectors. And then once we've got this connected, we'll go inside and we'll ohm out the 3 wires going into the house. And we'll see which one has continuity. And then we'll label it accordingly so later on we can hook it up tonight and know which one it is. Probably use the street lights outside. I'll enjoy the street lights outside one more time tonight, and it's likely going to be getting too cold after that. Okay, got the wire nuts. And we gotta oil some of these door hinges too. They're getting kind of squeaky. And I gotta take the screen off the back door because we're just not going to be having that open anymore. Those screen doors were a good buy. I like those. I've gotten a lot of use out of both of them, especially the one upstairs. And time will tell, but so far, reasonable. Alright, I've got the correct wire strippers now. I've got the twist-on wire connectors. Should be good to finish. And I'm starting to get some leaves in the yard. Not as much as I would have expected by now, though. Usually by like mid-September, there's leaves everywhere. Seems like all the seasons are just pushed back like a month or two this year. It's kind of weird. This is 14 gauge wire. It's kind of a long run over there, so hopefully this helps keep the voltage drop to a minimum. And we can strip this back a little bit more, but I don't want to go too much because we don't have a lot of extra slack on this. So this whole apparatus we don't even need anymore. Just cancel this right out. That knocked over my indicator for the evergreen tree. And now this wire here, this is the one that goes to this light on top of this pole. And here's our input. This is much longer than it needs to be, but I'm going to leave it like that. I don't want to cancel out any of the slack. So I'll just stick it up into the light like this and leave all the extra slack there. You never know, sometimes something breaks or whatever, you just need a little extra slack, and it's easier to have it than not. This wire is kind of a nuisance to work with. You have to strip off this outer coating here. We'll put the red one as the side yard, and the black will be this one right here. And then of course the common will be both. And I need one more tool. I didn't bring out the 9s. These are not exactly what I had in mind, but they'll get the same task done. Even some grass is coming up fresh. It's not good. Very humid today. Maybe it will rain tomorrow. I hope it does. I hope it rains a lot too. We could probably use 15, 20 inches of rain. Certainly windy enough to bring in a storm. All right, so you think about the logic of this. This seems to be willing to push up into there a little bit, just a few inches though, not very far. So you really want to make these connections kind of right here at the bottom like that, and then we'll just push it up as much as we can. So I am going to feed this wire in first. heck is this all screwed up like that for? I guess this one should probably go up as well, like this. You see, this one we don't have any slack on, so if anything happens to this wire, we're out of luck, which is not great. Ugh, yuck. I didn't realize that was in the sun. Hopefully that's not all jacked up. It's getting pretty hot. We're not going to put any stinking tape on these wire nuts. There's no reason to. Alright, so now we'll just we'll make these connections. So we're going to take the red and join it to this black wire, which feeds the side yard light. Lovely. Look what just came in to join us. A stupid jerk. Those things are bad news. Okay, so now we've got to get all these connections back up in there. All the high side connections I'd really prefer to be facing upwards like this, just in case somehow some water got in there. I think that's highly unlikely, but wouldn't be the first time something unlikely transpires. Okay, this is fitting a lot easier than the other one was. Well, I don't know if I got that one on video or not. I don't think I did. I really don't want a wire connector sticking out the bottom like that. It looks terrible. But I might be stuck with it. I don't think I can fit this up in there. It's going to become too tight. Maybe. I'll try it. Gotta get lucky sometimes, I guess. Alright. Not great. Could be much better. But it's a huge improvement to the way it was. I can get rid of this whole mess over here with all these other cords, and I can control it individually, which was important to me. I wanted that functionality. We've had this extension cord draped on here for months. Actually, probably years. There's another stupid lanternfly there. What the heck? Yeah, I just said we haven't seen them many. The dumb things are making a fool out of me now. There's another one right here. Jerk. It was two cords here. So it was one cord with this stuffed in there to go to the light, and then this turned into another cord here. Now we can bring all this in. And I'll probably use that during Christmas time. Okay, next we're gonna have to go back in the garage and find out how much stuff I have on hand to see if we can do the next part of this or not. I need to have one outdoor waterproof electrical box. I don't want to shout that outside here. At least when you shout that inside, it's a little more discreet. Yeah, so we're going to replace this next. This ridiculous, with the no good. No good. Actually, I got to think about how I want to set that up. I'm going to take a quick break from the video and do that now. Here's the, oh, we're inside now. I can shout it. The box! Oh, gosh, it sounds like a farm in here. Here's the box of electrical stuff. This is what we needed. A outdoor junction. And then we need the cover. Here it is. Oh, you know what? This is the whole apparatus that we need. Okay, that was easy. I gotta find an outlet. I'm sure we have an outlet around here somewhere. If we don't have an outlet, that's pretty pathetic. Oh, you know what? There's stuff that's been floating around on top of the counter here that I've been needing to put into that box for a while. I'm gonna put it in there right now. Or I'll throw it and... I might need one of these later on today. This has got an extra punch out to it, but I'm going to keep that around. In fact, we could use both of these downstairs. Okay, now we gotta get the outlets out. Here's the outlets. Yeah, we got a couple. I think we're actually going to use a stupid tamper resistant only because this is something I'm never going to plug in and out on occasion or with any frequency. And I would never use this inside the house because I think these things are annoying pieces of junk. So this is a good use of it. We'll just put it out in this outlet here. And we get this partially set up on the inside here and then take it outside. Lots of plastic film, which is good for the environment. So this is going to be a multi-purpose junction. One side of this wire is going to feed the street light, and then the other side is going to feed another piece of uplighting. So I'm trying to think if I have enough wire to do this. Do I have enough wire to make this connection now? No, I don't. It'll have to be something for the springtime. So we'll have to come in here and modify this at one point. No problem. So we're going to block off one of these holes for now, and the other hole we'll need to put a regular connector on. Let's see if I happen to have one in this to draw. This will work. Huh, that just happened to align pretty nicely. And this is what goes over it. This goes on here like this, and then we will use ow! The screws, I have to take the screws out and then go on the other side, but this is pretty much what it ends up looking like. Actually, wait a minute. No, it goes like this on this side. Well, that certainly is not what we wanted. Okay, so that's how the thing goes, and then the screws pass through the front here and hold it all in place. And then I guess it's watertight. And this stupid tamper-resistant nonsense has some stupid little dumb apparatus on here, which is going to cause so much stupid unnecessary aggravation trying to put the screws in. I hate these outlets. These are so dumb. Look at that. It's got something blocking the stinking screw hole. No, I'm taking that off. That's dumb. We don't know why we need that. That's dumb. Okay. And then this is supposed to go between this box and the post. All right, so we need to take this off first. I need to clear out my pocket. It's full of the scraps from the other part. All right, so bring this out. Bring those screws out. Bring our stupid, dumb, tamper-resistant, dumb, annoying outlet. Those screws. And then we'll need these screws for the outlet. And we'll need this to cut the wire, and we'll need this to go inside the box, And then, really don't need that. I think that's it. We'll need these. And maybe I'll bring out these as well for bending the wire. And then we'll bring one twist-on wire connector to cap off the side that we don't use. We'll probably not get to that until the spring, because I think buying any more wire right now is not in budget, and we need the wire to complete the project. So we'll just, if we put this in, we can get the street lights to work, and then the street lights will be controlled independently, and then I can plug in the uplighting independently as well. So that kind of solves the way I wanted to get it before it gets cold out. And if we have to revisit this and finish it in the spring, so be it. That's not a big deal. All right, so before we do this, I'll run the trencher just to get that wire a little bit underground, and then we'll start the actual connecting of this box. Wow, it's really getting windy out here. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm mistaken. The other side of that is not going to feed uplighting. The other side of that's going to feed, it's going to be a spare. If I ever wanted to put another light on the fence over here, that's what that one's for. Okay. So, if you notice here, this was just sitting on the ground, and over the course of the summer, the ground just kind of took it back. So that's why I'm not too worried about trying to trench this real deep, because the ground will take it back in a year or two anyways. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is there's a big root right here, and it's pretty clear otherwise. I got to think of how to plot this out so that I can remember where it is. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put it so that it's going from this fence post, this one here, directly to that. And this way, when I run the second wire for the uplight, that's going to be on that tree right there, I can run from here directly over to here, and it won't be a risk of damaging the wire. The only problem is I think there might be a root in between here. We're not going to get it. There's a root right here, which actually is coming to the surface, so we don't want to put the wire right there. We kind of have to reuse the path that the wire was already taking, I think. Well, let's see what we can do. Actually, can we just use this cord? That would be convenient. There's a root system right here too. We might not get very far with this. There's a root right there. I think that's a root there. Yep. There's a root there, so we can't go down too deep right there. Well, it worked a lot better than the first time I used it. I'm going to stop and take some pictures now, just so I can kind of reference where this wire is in the future. So if I go from this post here straight over to that tree, we can clear that safely. So this wire, let's see here. I can't cut into the ground over here because of the trees. So this is just going to have to kind of sit on the ground again. I know it's not ideal, but and the extension cords have been doing it for the last 3 years. This wire is certainly tougher than that, so I don't really expect any problems. I wish it was a little better than this, but you have to work within the constraints of the land. This isn't too bad. It's a little dodgy in a couple spots, but nothing crazy. I don't think I'm even going to bother trying to bury this. I'll just let the thaw and the freeze and thaw cycle take care of it this year. Okay, so here's where the root is. It's like a 2 or 3 inch root. Honestly, maybe I can just try to go underneath that, but I think it's too big even for that. You know what the difference is? The ground over here is not as parched as it is by the house. That's probably why it worked better here. It's still drier than it usually is here, but it's not as bad as other parts of the yard. Alright, now I'll go grab the electrical components and I'll put those in. I did have more 14.2 on hand. I used it. Used it on the fence street lights on the left side. That's where it went. I knew I had some, I just couldn't remember what I did with it. Yeah, I guess I will bring out that little stamper thing and try to move the ground over that wire a little bit. I might import a little dirt here just because this is where that root is. Another root predicament right here. How about we cut this? Let's see how much we can put into the box. What the heck did I put that in there for? Come on, where's the screws? Here we go. Okay, that's not centered. It really should be. Okay, the tab just broke. That's great. This stuff is not made the way it used to be. Oh, is this a toy or is it a child's toy? This is pathetic. Okay. And for all the people that are saying this is the wrong way to do this, you're 100% correct. But it's still better than the way it was. And I forgot the gasket. That tab just broke as well. Garbage. It's garbage quality. Dumb junk. Okay, the box is in place. It's still in the frame, that's good. Actually, it's a little bit warmer out here than I originally gave this day credit for. Probably can put at least that much in there and get these stupid bugs out of here and be okay like that. So maybe I'll cut it here. Okay, that's better. And this red wire we'll just keep in here for potential more streetlight installs. Okay, that looks pretty good. Cool, there's our outlet in place. So now I need to change the wire on that street light to something a little bit longer. I still can't necessarily eliminate this extension cord completely, but at least now it's not laying across the yard and looking unappealing. It'll just be a little bit coiled up over here. Maybe I'll change the wire on that streetlight later. I have some other more important things to do today first. If we get to that or not, I don't care. I can do that any other time. So now let's see, what can we do to make this a little better over here? Pretty sure we can eliminate some of these wires. Oh, you know what? This cord should be on the street light now. Oh no, I didn't want to pull that out. I like these. I'll just put this cord on with the street light for now. I'm going to clean up the contacts a little bit before I do that, though they're kind of dirty. A little corroded from sitting outside. This was supposed to be a much more temporary setup than it was. I never expected this to be outside for a couple of years like this. I'll just take a little bit of sandpaper to these contacts and clean them up. I just don't want to stuff a dirty old plug into a brand new outlet. Nor is a dirty old plug really a good thing to have anyways. This is so bad, I should probably just replace this plug eventually. Alright, it's good enough to use at least. This cord is only probably 7-foot cord. You can just leave this out there more long term. Again, it's still not correct, but it's a lot better than it was. The whole street light needs to be taken down and cleaned. It's getting kind of mildewy. It's the same, looks like the same stuff we get on the deck railing. Oh, rats. It's not 3-prong. Duh, I don't know why the heck I didn't realize that. Should have known better than that. Alright, fine, and this will just come inside. This is a little bit too long, but I guess I'll just use it for now. Oh, the plug is all corroded on this thing too. Well, the setup definitely needs some more attention still, but this is a big improvement. So now instead of this whole mess here, oh dear. I guess this needs some serious cleaning in there. We no longer need this apparatus here. Because this can just go. Man, I'm surprised it got like that. I had that pretty well sealed up. You know, I'll try blasting some compressed air into there. Make sure there's none of that junk in the outlet still. I got the compressed air, which is almost empty. Hopefully there's enough in there just to get through this task. Alright, that looks much better than it did. So it'll be like this through the winter, and then we'll get to the rest of this in the summertime next year. And this is another, this will be turned into the, this will be turned into the landscape lights and then the tree up lighting circuits. Alright, so that completes the outdoor portion of this task. I'll go ahead and clean all this up now. And then I'm going to have to take a break and do some work on the computer. I got to set up the videos for tonight. I got to do a little bit of editing, and then maybe we'll revisit this in the indoor portion later tonight. Can do the inside portion at any time. It's not weather dependent. I think that's all the tools. I don't see any tools left. We got all the tools. I think the wheels on this thing could use some oil. This is handy, especially at Christmas time. Glad we could recover that. There's 2 tomato plants that have developed under the deck here. That's one right there, and then there's one over there as well. I want to save these and try to winter them and use them next year. These plants are, the ones that come up by themselves are usually much better than the ones you can buy in the store in terms of health and strength. So if I can get these to survive the winter inside, I bet they'll give us a nice crop next year. So I've got 2 pots that we're going to use, but first we got to clean all this up. And we got a thing to put all this junk in. We got to clean up from the restoration of the ceiling fan blades, which was an excellent project. Came out very good. I'm just going to cancel all this out. This stuff has all been recycled once. This was pallets. That's tape. I'm just going to keep that piece of wire. I'm not going to cancel out the rocks. We'll keep the rocks. as well cancel out some of these leaves and weeds while we're at it. Okay, that's much better. Now we got to clean up these pots. Give these a really good washing because they're going to go in the house. Okay, that's a little too much exposure. Now it's kind of washed out in the background, but at least the foreground is the correct brightness. All right, I'm gonna just get a short hose out. And actually, we gotta blow out the hoses from the water soon for the year. So I'm not gonna be using the hoses much longer. And I'll go get some melamine foam. I don't know about this rain. I think it might come sooner than it's being predicted. It's getting kind of cloudy and the wind is really picking up. So, gotta get this done before it rains. Stupid door, come on, close. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some melamine foam. And then we'll be ready to get started with the cleanup. Here's a piece. Also want to make sure we wash out any traces of bugs or anything that were in here. I don't ever recall these pots having a bug problem, but you never know. A lot of roots in here. These pots were very root bound. no good place to hook this over here. Yeah, we'll just clean these pots right back up to like new condition, and then they'll be good to use. These pots, I think I bought these the year I moved in the house, and I had them on the deck with the flowers in them. And I replaced them last year, no, this year I think. Yeah, I replaced them this year with those urns that I got out of the trash. These are perfectly good, but those tables I had built were getting kind of dilapidated, and the urns just looked a little nicer, so I rather use those. And I figured we could find another use for these sooner or later. Alright, the pots are ready for use. Now the table is all soaking wet. It's not ideal. I have some potting soil in the garage, which was left over from the summer. So now I'm glad I have a use for it. Just one less thing I have to store all year. Not that I wouldn't use it next year, but it's taking up a lot of space in here. See, that is Miracle Grow. We don't need any miracles here. I think the plant will be good by itself. Here we go, potting soil. Potting mix. I think this is technically for flowers, but I mean, the tomato plants do flower. decent shovel to dig up the plant. There's tomato plant number 1. It's a pretty good size unit considering it doesn't really get any sun under here. A horrible soil to grow in too. Yeah, decent root on there. I think that should hold. We'll have to put a little stake in here too with this because it's kind of flimsy and these tend to need a stake anyways as they grow. Put a little more soil probably. I was going to put this in the living room, but I might also try to set up maybe I'll try to set up a garden in the garage with a grow light. I think I have one somewhere. Now, do I have any stakes? Yes, I do. I have 2. Perfect. Oh, no. These have stinking, that sticky, whatever the heck it is from that Westinghouse casement air conditioner. Something to try to get this off with. I don't want this near food. I don't know what this is. This might be something if I put it out in the winter time and it gets cold, maybe I can get it to come off of here that way. I think I've got the majority of it off. It's still a little bit sticky though. It's not too bad. Good enough to use. More stupid squirrels digging up the yard over there. That's great. I should have put this in prior to putting the root in. I know the root's over there, so I'm not going to damage the root with this, but still dumb. Alright. So this can now get strapped on here like this as it grows. I thought I had got some plant Velcro. Let's see if I have any. I know I had a roll of it, but now it's going to be a question of where did it go? Well, what I'll do for the time being, which is not ideal, I'll just make a tie out of this string that I get from the Christmas trees, which will be here before you know it. I don't know where that plant Velcro is. Wish I had that plant Velcro. It's got to be in the house somewhere. I wouldn't have thrown it out. This will work, but the plant Velcro would be much better because it's a larger surface area. It's easier on the plant. It's easier to make it bigger as it grows, etc. This will get us by for now until I find where that stinking plant Velcro is. Alright, just something to hold it in place. Okay, so there's number one. I can barely move this under here. And then number two. Could have used a touch more dirt, but I don't want to open another bag just for that. Okay, so this one is a little bit smaller, semi-dilapidated. I'm not sure this one's going to make it, but we'll give it a shot. This one's right here, where that wooden stake is. Actually, it looks a lot healthier than it did a couple days ago. But the root is very small, and the stem is kind of growing weird. Actually, root's not too bad. I'm gonna do a crook this time and put this thing in first. This is going to have some relearning to do. It's growing very crooked now, but that should straighten out in a couple days. Okay. So there's our 2 volunteer tomato plants. No idea where they came from or why they came up this time of year, but hopefully these will take nicely in the house, and maybe we'll get fresh tomatoes all summer. I mean, gosh, all winter. This one's kind of dirty. Let's see if I can rinse it off a little bit. I don't want to put too much pressure on these things because they're very delicate still. Good enough. Add a little bit of water, not too much, because they're going to leak everywhere. I'm trying to carry them inside. Okay. That takes care of that. I'm going to cancel out the screen on the door here. I don't think we'll use this anymore this year. If we happen to, we can just put it back. I'd rather take it in while it's dry. I don't know, we have a rooster going at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. I'll brush this off a little better in the house. I think it's going to rain any soon now. It's getting a little bit cooler. Temperature's going down pretty quick. Humidity's going up. And the cloud coverage is going up as well. Kind of interesting cloud coverage right now. Some of the ones off to the front look a little ominous. Here's the wires inside. There should be one which has nothing connected to it, one which has both the black and red connected to something, and then one that only has the black connected to something. So we're going to strip these back and we'll take some continuity readings, and that should tell us what we need to know. Okay, really getting in the habit of throwing tools around lately. So we're going to measure between the common. Now, these street lights might be off at the photocell. I don't know if the photocell takes a little bit of resistance to, even when it's off. I don't know how that works. So this one has some resistance on the black and nothing on the red. So this is going to be our the one that goes out to the pole by the water. So we're gonna label this wire number 1, and I'm gonna write down on the paper here that number 1 is on the pole. I'll make sure we document all this very well so that it's simple to deal with later. So wire number 1 is, it's a 4x4 by the water. And the black is an outlet. And the red is a spare. Okay, so now I would really prefer to not strip the one that we're not using. And I might actually be able to tell which one we're not using because they are a slightly different color. So two are darker gray and one's a light gray. So let's go outside and see if I can tell which one is which. So one of the wires is a lighter gray than the other two. Now let's see if we can find out. So the lighter gray one is the one that we're not going to be using just yet. There's going to be an outlet here which will give us a junction for connecting that to an outlet. Okay, let's try that explanation again. There's going to be an outlet here which will serve as a plug-in for more uplighting for the tree, and then it also serve as a junction for a pass-through for the other wire that will be for the landscape lighting. So the light gray one, we're going to leave that alone for now. No reason to open that up yet. Alright, so this one we're going to ignore for the time being. This one we're going to strip back. Hopefully this is still in the frame. And this one is going to have the two side yard street lights on the fence. I think I answered my own question here. When the photo cell was turned off, it still has a very limited continuity to it, which I kind of figured would be the case because the photocell, I suspect it takes a small amount of power to operate, not in the same way that no, actually I guess maybe in the same way that electronics controls work. That photo aspect of it has to be energized, I think. You know what? I don't really know how a photo cell works. That could be totally wrong. I guess when I'm done with this, I should look up a video on how photo cells work. Alright, so now we should get continuity across both the black and the red. Okay, and we're not getting continuity on either. So I think maybe my vision is becoming so poor that I could not identify this accurately. Well, I shouldn't say becoming so poor. I don't think it's gotten any worse. Let's see if we get anything on this wire. Okay, we're getting a reading on there, and we're getting a reading on there. They're very different readings. One of the readings is very similar to the reading on here. Okay, so quite possibly, I just can't see it accurately, and this one is the two street lights on the fence in the side yard. Oh, I guess one's in the side yard and one's in the back. All right, so let's do some testing here. Let me get out a extension cord. Something just moved over there. Was that a mouse? I think a mouse got in here last night because I unintentionally left the screen door open the screen door was shut. I left the regular door open with the screen door shut, and that's fine during the day, but the screen door doesn't make a good seal on the bottom, and it's definitely enough for a mouse click to come through. So now I'm concerned that there's an additional mouse beyond just the computer mouse inside here. I did see some droppings on the table this morning, which is never a nice thing to see. So we'll have to set some mouse to traps. This is that time of year though, when stuff tries to come in. That's fine, I can deal with the mice. It was the stinking bats that was a nightmare and a half. Ugh. That was awful. That went on for months. Alright, so we'll just plug this in here. This is the official way to plug something in, is to just stick the wires into the outlet. Now if I peer out the window, we should see something happening. I don't see anything happening. It's possible that the photo cell is just the off. In fact, I think that that's very likely. Let me go grab the non-contact voltage detector. I'll check the wire to see if it's making a good connection. There is always a possibility that the way it's plugged in is not making the best connection. Unlikely, because that's a great connection, but slim chance that it's not making a connection. Pretty sure I plugged it in outside. Maybe I didn't plug it in outside. We'll check it. We'll get it to work. Hopefully the rain will hold off until I get this working. Alright, let's see. Okay, so we've got power there, so I don't know why it's not coming on. Might take a couple minutes to click on. Let's just see if there's any electricity over here. Yeah, there is. So it's just going to be a matter of waiting a few minutes for it to click on. I'll hang out here and we'll watch that happen. Hopefully a skunk doesn't come by in the meantime. One of the things I like about electrical work is that it usually just plain works as long as you do it correctly. Very, very few times do the circuits not come out correctly and have all sorts of problems. This is really taking a long time. Huh. Well, I'm not going to spend any more time waiting for it to turn on. Let's check the other two circuits. So for this one, we're going to need a splitter. Might actually use the one that I grabbed in from outside earlier today. This needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it should be in good working order. That light has still not come on. I don't understand what the problem is with that. So we're gonna stick one of these in here on one side and then just the high side into another one. We're gonna get lucky on this reaching the outlet. Well, I think we are. We'll just have to move this out of the way and move this over. And then we should be able to stick this in right here. Alright, that light has still not come on. Something's got to be wrong at this point. Now there's electricity everywhere over here. I really feel like that should have come on by now. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. Well, let's check the other lights. Alright, still nothing on that one. And there's nothing on the other two either. What the heck? That's not the way it's supposed to be. I need to get the plug checker. I think this is just too sensitive to get an accurate reading. Let's see what's going on over here though. Why are these not? Are all three of them to not work? There's a rabbit right there. A small one. For all three of these to not work is very bizarre. It would certainly seem like there's electricity. So I don't understand why the lights aren't coming on. I am stumped. I can't believe they don't work. I wonder if they're not working because it requires the ground to be connected. Let me connect the ground here, or try to anyways. That could be the possibility. I just thought about that while I was going to get the plug checker, because I knew that that was going to be a fault. You know, we're going to have grounding on that outlet because the ground wasn't connected. I wonder if that somehow... Sounds like something's arcing. I wonder if that has to do with the operation of photocells or something. I turn on these other lights, so at least we got something to work with while we're out here. Let's check the outlet with the outlet tester, and let's see if there's any ground. According to this, it's correct, although that light is very dim. Correct. Something's a little weird with that being dim like that. I'll give this a minute and let's see if it comes on. Yeah, nothing from the side ones yet. Let's see if it's dim and wonky like that in here. No, it's not. So maybe we need to just put an actual plug on there, and something's wrong here. Let's just put an actual lead on there. I think I have some maybe they're downstairs. I think I have some blank leads. Something super strange is going on with these lights. Here's the box. I should plug something else in outside there, just like a basic drop light or something, and see if it comes on. The light on the plug thing was definitely weird. This thing is so rattly. Come on. Stupid creaky plastic piece of junk. It's getting that time of year now where it's too cold to use the vintage ones. They just ice up. Okay, I've got some plugs here. There's some blank wires. Let's hook these up and see what the heck is going on here. I'm pretty sure it's got to be a connection issue there. I don't see what the heck would be wrong between here and there otherwise. I had to turn that thing off. That is so annoying. I really wonder what the heck is going on with these lights. Okay, this is not working. That's the wrong stool. I suppose the next steps is to measure the voltage and see what kind of weird things are going on with the power out there. Okay, so we'll start with this one. This should be the outlet that we just put in earlier in this video. Thought I heard something beeping. All right, so now we know we have a good connection. Let's go out there and see how this behaves. Hey, that's all what I would expect. Let's see what we get outside. This really filled in nice this summer. Huh, now we have the light operating immediately. I still want to see what the plug looks like. It's normal now. Alright, so something was dodgy before. I'm not sure exactly what. It just wasn't getting a good connection. Alright, so I guess that's all this was going on, is it's just not making good connection. Fair enough, this is not the right way to plug it in anyways, but it usually works. That's actually the first time I've not had that work. Well, let's strip some more wire and get good cords for these other two. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll put them on the, I'll try to put them on the X10 thing. I've had issues with those in this outlet just turning on sporadically, and I can't have that. I don't want to be paying to run something all night for no reason, you know, if it just turns on by itself. So I'll have to see what it does. Now, normally the polarity is not too important when you're dealing with AC, but in this case it is, because we're sharing the common. So if we don't wire it up with the common as the common, it's going to just have problems. Alright, in the case of this particular cord, the smooth side is the high side, which I guess is what it typically is. 95% of the time that seems to be the case. But you really can't just assume it, because 95 is not 100. Oh, actually, are we going to be able to do that? Because if we use the X10, we're not going to have a dedicated common. I'm going to have to jumper the common so that it's always connected. Alright, that's fine, I can do that. I know these wires are not necessarily meant to be stripped out like this, but these are so difficult to open up. You don't want to go too far because then you cut the insulation of the wires itself, and then there's an electrical hazard. So what we need to do is we'll need to connect both of these cords to the common. This way we can operate them independently. I don't know how that X10 stuff works, if it cuts off the common as well. It probably does. Or maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. I never looked inside one to find out. Okay, so actually let me just take a quick break here to label this as wire number 2. And I'm going to write down what wire number 2 does. Actually, I don't know which. This is, let's see. This is the west side fence lights. I'm not sure which one does which light because we're not going to know until I turn it on for the first time. So we'll just start with one of them. So both the commons are going to go together. Okay, and then both of the grounds can go together. Looks like somebody put stinking electrical tape on this twist-on wire connector at some point, which is pointless. And let's just connect one of these for now. We'll connect the red one first. And let's see which light, if any, turn on. Okay, that's the front one. So the red is the side yard. And then the black will be by the water, which is currently dried up and not helpful. Okay, so let's get one more twist-on wire connector. I'm trying to use the correct terminology. And that's just blank. It's not connected to anything. And this is blank for now. Okay, so now we have 3 4. We have 4. Or there should be 5. 1, 2, 3. No, there should be 4. Okay. So we have 4 plugs now. Let's see if we can set up the X10 system to control these from upstairs. Okay, we're going to scratch that for tonight. I had a box. A box! I guess we can shout it because we're inside. Had a box of X10 stuff floating around the studio area, and unfortunately every single module in there is a lamp module, and we need appliance modules for this. So I can't set this up tonight. I'll just get out another power bar here that we can use to plug all this in. Just on a temporary basis. Is this one not switched? Go figure. It's like 4 power bars in the world that aren't switched, and that's one of them. Can't make this stuff up. Here we go. This one is the switched. It's even already nicely tied up here. Alright, so we'll put the up lights. Yeah, we gotta do something better than that. It's really sloppy and in the way. But if we turn all that on, we should get all street lights. Now let's go make sure everything's working. Looks like we got all the street lights on and operational. Yeah, I have to say, this camera picks up the streetlights really nicely. Man, that wind is getting strong. Do you hear any wind noise in the video? If not, then these microphones are working pretty good. The addition of these 2 on the fence was excellent. It really just completed the setup so nicely, because that side of the yard was always dark. And now it's bright all around the house. It's so beautiful out here at night. Usually it's a little bit more peaceful without these gale force winds, but if they bring in rain, I'm not complaining. This is capturing it surprisingly accurately to the way I see it while operating in the person. Well, I call that a huge success. A major step in the right direction for this project. This is much neater. I was looking at it from out on the deck this afternoon, and it was so nice to not see all those wires everywhere anymore. We can change the lead on the street light to be one solid piece that goes right down as the correct length. And I got to put more outlets in over here still, but it was so nice not to see all those wires draped all over the fence like it's been for the last 2 years. This is much better. This is still not the way I want it to be in the end, but it's much better for now. It's pretty clean. Used to have a stinking cord draped all the way over there, and it's just a total mess. This is pretty decent. I'm content with this for now. What I had envisioned in finality was to have outlets at the bottom of all these street lights that I could use to plug in the street lights during the summer and then plug in the Christmas lights during wintertime. But those little outdoor boxes, those little plastic things, the watertight, waterproofing, whatever it is boxes, those are expensive. And I just can't buy a whole mess of those right now. So we'll have it like this, and then someday I'll have the outlets for the Christmas lights, and that will be much better when that time comes. But this is good. This is a big improvement. I'm happy with it like this for now. I think this is one of my favorite shots of these lights.